Listen to me. I know it's hard. I know you're tired. I know life has been punching you in the mouth and you're thinking, maybe it's time to quit. But before you throw in that towel, before you walk away from everything you've been building, stop. Take a breath. Remember why you started. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You started because you had a dream. You started because something deep down in your soul told you that you were built for more. You started because you refused to let average define your name. So when that voice inside your head said, "Heads up," you tell it, "I can't." I remember why I started. Every champion, every success story, every person who made it to the top, they all felt like quitting. The difference is they did. They remembered the pain that pushed them to start in the first place. They remembered the promises they made to themselves, and they kept moving forward, even when it hurt, even when it didn't make sense, even when nobody believed in them. See, quitting is easy. But the moment you quit, you also quit on your future, your family, your legacy, and the version of you that's waiting on the other side of pain. That's why you gotta push through. You gotta remind yourself every single day, I started this journey for a reason. Don't let temporary emotions destroy permanent goals. When you feel like quitting, go back to day one. Go back to that hunger. Go back to that fire. Go back to the version of you that believed anything was possible. Because that's who you really are. Not the tired you, not the discouraged you, but the warrior who started this fight. So wipe your tear, straighten your back, and get back in the game. Quitting doesn't build character. Faith does. Consistency does. And if you can remember why you started, you'll find the strength to finish what you began. You started this journey to prove something, not to them, but to yourself. Don't stop now. You've come too far, you've grown too much, and you fought too long. The pain you feel today is just the cost of greatness. So when you feel like quitting, remember why you started and keep going. Your why must be stronger than your excuse. Every single time you feel like quitting, that's the battle. Not between your body and the pain, not between you and your goals, but between your why and your excuse. That's where the real war is fought. When you wake up in the morning and don't feel like getting out of bed, when you've been grinding for months and it feels like nothing is changing, your why is what pulls you up, while your excuses try to drag you back down. The difference between the ones who make it and the ones who give up is simple. The ones who make it have a reason so powerful that no excuse can silence it. You see, excuses are easy to make. Now I'm tired. It's too hard. I'll do it tomorrow. Those words roll off the tongue without effort because they give you comfort in the moment. But your why doesn't speak to your comfort, it speaks to your commitment. Your why reminds you that you didn't start this journey for convenience. You started it because you had something to prove, something to build, something to change. Excuses are temporary shields, but your why is your armor. When life starts throwing punches, you can hide behind excuses, or you can stand firm behind your purpose. Think about it. Every person who ever achieved greatness had a why that burned deeper than their pain. When you listen to people who made it to the top, you'll hear that they weren't stronger, they weren't smarter, they weren't luckier. They were anchored by something inside them that no excuse could shake. They remembered who they were doing it for, their families, their dreams, their legacy, their future selves. They let that reason drive them when motivation ran out. Motivation fades, energy fades, but purpose does. Your why gives you a reason to keep moving even when you got nothing left in the tank. When you start anything meaningful, whether it's your business, your fitness journey, your education, or your personal growth, it's easy in the beginning. The excitement fuels you. You're inspired. You're hyped. Somewhere along the line, the ground starts to feel heavy. The results slow down. The people around you stop clapping. That's when the excuses start to whisper. You've done enough. It's not working. You're not built for this. That's when you've got to stop and remind yourself, why did I start this in the first place? Because if your why isn't strong enough, your excuses will win every single time. Your why is the fuel that gets you through the storm. Life will always test your commitment to what you say you want. It's not going to hand you success just because you wish for it. You have to fight for it. And that fight gets ugly. You'll have days when you're exhausted, when the people you counted on disappear, when it feels like you're taking one step forward and two steps back. But that's when your why kicks in. That's when you tell yourself, I can't quit now. My family's counting on me. My future's counting on me. My dream is counting on me. Because if you let your excuses win, you don't just lose the goal, you lose a piece of yourself. Let me be real. Your excuses will always sound reasonable. They'll always sound logical. Because excuses are designed to protect you from discomfort. Your mind wants to keep you safe. But safety and success don't live in the same neighborhood. You can't be comfortable and successful at the same time. You can't chase greatness and cling to excuses. Every time you choose an excuse, you delay your destiny. Every time you push through it, you get stronger. And the crazy part is, once you push past that wall, you realize it wasn't even as tall as you thought it was. Your fear just made it look that way. Your why must become your voice when your body says, I'm done. It must become your vision when everything around you looks dark. It must become your reason when nothing else makes sense. Maybe your why's at your family. You want to give them a better life. Maybe it's your dream. You want to prove that you're capable of more. Maybe it's your past. You refuse to go back to where you came from. Whatever it is, let it be so strong that quitting feels like betrayal. Let it be so real that you can see it, taste it, feel it every single day. Because if you can't connect to your why, your excuses would always seem louder. Think about the times you wanted to give up but did. Why didn't you quit? Because something inside you said, not yet. That voice was your why. It was the part of you that knows what's waiting on the other side of the struggle. That voice would never scream, but it's always there. Quiet, steady, pushing you forward. The problem is, most people stop listening to that voice and start listening to fear, fatigue, and frustration. They let temporary emotions destroy permanent goals. But not you. You've got to train yourself to listen to your why, no matter how loud the excuses get. When you feel weak, remember your reason. When you feel lost, remember your mission. When you feel like quitting, remember the promise you made to yourself. Your why was what gives your pain meaning. Without it, the grind feels pointless. Without it, every obstacle feels like defeat. But when you remember why you started, every setback becomes a lesson, every failure becomes fuel, and every moment of pain becomes proof that you're still in the fight. You've got to get to a place where you're emotionally attached to your why, because that emotional connection is what gives you power. People who are connected to their purpose can't be stopped. They might slow down, but they don't quit. They might fall, but they get back up. Why? Because their why won't let them stay down. That's the kind of strength that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The strength that comes from having something worth fighting for. Your why isn't just a reason to start. It's a reminder to keep going when everything falls apart. It's what gets you out of bed when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It's what pushes you through another set when your muscles are burning. It's what drives you to keep working when everyone else goes home. The moment you let your excuses outweigh your purpose, you lose your edge. So you got to decide every single day which voice you're going to listen to. The voice that said, you can't. Or the voice that says, you must. When Eric Thomas said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. He wasn't just talking about working hard. He was talking about having a why so deep that giving up feels like dying. Because when your why becomes your oxygen, quitting isn't an option anymore. You fight, you grind, you sacrifice, you bleed. Because you know what's at stake. You know what you're fighting for. So the next time you feel like quitting, don't look for comfort. Look for your cause. Remind yourself of the pain you felt before you started. Remind yourself of the people who doubted you. Remind yourself of the life you said you wanted to build. Cause that's your fire. That's your why. And as long as that fire is burning, no excuse is strong enough to stop you. You can't control the obstacles. You can't control the setbacks. But you can control your response. You can control your effort. You can control your focus. And you can control your focus. And you can control how deeply you stay connected to your why. Because if your why is strong enough, you'll find a way. You push through pain. You'll overcome fear. And you'll conquer doubt. But if your why is weak, every little excuse will feel like a reason to quit. So build your why. Protect it. Feed it. Write it down. Speak it out loud every day. Let it remind you of who you are and where you're going. Because life will test you. It will knock you down. It will challenge you. It will tempt you to settle. But your why will pull you back up and push you forward. And when the dust settles, When the excuses fade, the one thing left standing will be you, driven, disciplined, and unstoppable. Because your why was stronger than your excuse. Remember your purpose when your motivation fades, because it will fade. No matter how passionate, how fired up, how committed you are at the beginning, that feeling doesn't last forever. Motivation is emotional. It's built on excitement, adrenaline, and inspiration. But emotions are temporary. Purpose, on the other hand, is eternal. It's the foundation you build on when the fire cools down. It's what keeps you moving when there's no crowd cheering, no one watching, and no instant results to keep you going. When you wake up on those days when everything feels heavy, when the thought of giving up crosses your mind, that's when you gotta lean on purpose. Because motivation may get you started, but purpose keeps you consistent. People misunderstand success because they think it's about being motivated all the time. They think high performers wake up every day excited to grind. No, the truth is, most days they don't feel like it. They're tired. They're frustrated. They've been doing the same thing over and over again. And sometimes it feels like they're not getting anywhere. But what separates them from everyone else is that they don't rely on motivation. They rely on purpose. Motivation says, I feel like doing it. Purpose says, I'll do it whether I feel like it or not. Motivation is based on mood. Purpose is based on mission. When you have a purpose, you can handle the dark days. You can handle the pressure. You can handle rejection, failure, and pain because you understand that those things are part of the process. You stop chasing the feeling and start trusting the direction. You stop asking, do I feel like it today? And start saying, this is who I am. This is what I do. That shift changes everything. Because once you're driven by purpose, you're no longer controlled by temporary emotion. You become steady. You become unshakable. You become the kind of person who shows up every single day, no matter what. Motivation is like a spark. It gets you started, but it burns out fast. Purpose is like a fire pit. It keeps burning as long as you keep feeding it. The problem is, too many people quit when the spark dies. They say, I don't feel inspired anymore. I lost my drive. But that's not the end. That's the beginning of real discipline. That's when you stop being fueled by hype and start being fueled by vision. Because purpose isn't loud, it's quiet. It doesn't always make you excited, but it always gives you direction. Think about why you started. Maybe it was to break a generational curse. Maybe it was to create a life you never had. Maybe it was to prove to yourself that you could be more than your circumstances. That's purpose. And when you remember that, it doesn't matter if you feel tired because you're not working for a feeling. You're working for a future. Motivation fades when the work gets hard, but purpose grows stronger with every challenge. Every obstacle becomes a reminder of why you can't stop now. There will be days when you'll wake up and nothing feels right. You'll question your path. You'll doubt your ability. You'll look around and wonder if all the effort is even worth it. That's when you gotta dig deep and remind yourself of your why. You've got to tell yourself, I started this for a reason. I'm not doing this just for today. I'm doing this for something bigger. That's the power of purpose. It anchors you. It gives you stability when everything else feels uncertain. When you look at people who never give up, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the visionaries, you'll notice something. They're not driven by hype, they're driven by purpose. They understand that purpose is what keeps you steady through the storm. It's what helps you stay consistent when nobody claps, when the money isn't coming, when the results aren't showing. Because the truth is, consistency beats intensity. Motivation might push you hard for a week, but purpose keeps you moving for years. You can't depend on motivation to carry you through life. It's too unstable. You can watch a powerful video, read an inspiring quote, or hear amazing speech. And for a moment, you'll feel like you can conquer the world. But then reality hits. You go back to your routine, and the same problems are still there. That's why you need something deeper than motivation. You need a purpose that wakes you up even when you're exhausted. A vision that drives you even when you can't see progress. A mission that reminds you that the pain has meaning. Your purpose is your internal GPS. It doesn't stop working just because the road gets rough. It might reroute you, it might take longer, but it will always guide you toward your destination if you keep following. The problem is when motivation fades, most people turn off the engine. They say, maybe it wasn't meant for me. But purpose says, keep driving. You're closer than you think. You got to trust that even when the feeling isn't there, the process is still working. Purpose doesn't just push you, it shapes you. Every challenge you face refines your character. Every setback teaches you resilience. Every failure reminds you that growth doesn't come from comfort. And that's what makes purpose so powerful. It doesn't just give you direction, it gives your struggle meaning. When you know your purpose, pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. You start to see obstacles as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. There's a moment in every journey where you'll feel like you've lost the spark. That's the test. That's the moment that separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. When motivation is gone, most people stop. But the few who keep going, they do it because they remember their purpose. They remember who they're doing it for. They remember what's on the line. They remember the promise they made to themselves. And even though they don't feel like it, they keep showing up. And one day, all that quiet consistency pays off. The truth is, feelings lie. Feelings tell you to quit. Feelings tell you it's not worth it. But purpose tells you the truth. Purpose reminds you that this pain has a point, that this delay has a lesson, that this season is shaping you for the next one. And when you live with purpose, you stop making decisions based on how you feel and start making them based on who you're becoming. That's where transformation begins, not in a burst of motivation, but in the quiet commitment to keep going no matter what. You have to feed your purpose daily. Just like a fire, if you don't tend to it, it burns out. So remind yourself why you started. Speak it out loud. Visualize the future you build and talk to the version of yourself you're trying to become. The more you stay connected to your purpose, the less you'll depend on fleeting motivation. You'll stop waiting for the right mood to take action and start acting because it's part of who you are. There's a reason some people rise while others stay stuck. It's not because they're luckier or more talented. It's because they've learned how to keep going when the feeling is gone. They've learned how to replace motivation with discipline, emotion with intention, and comfort with calling. That's what living with purpose looks like. It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because when you look back one day, you realize that the moments you wanted to quit were the very moments that shaped your greatness. Purpose is what keeps your heart steady when life shakes you. It's what reminds you that every long night, every sacrifice, every tear was part of something bigger. And when you hold on to that, you stop asking, how long will this take? And start saying, as long as it takes. Because purpose doesn't have an expiration date. It's not about how fast you reach the goal. It's about becoming a person capable of living that goal. So when your motivation fades, and it will, don't panic. Don't think it's over. That's just the universe testing your commitment. That's your moment to prove that you're serious. That's your moment to remind yourself that you didn't start this journey because it was easy. You started it because it was worth it. Motivation may get you to the starting line, but purpose is what gets you to the finish line. You owe it to yourself to finish what you started. You owe it to your past self who believed in this dream, and to your future self who's waiting to live. So don't chase motivation. Build purpose. And when the days get hard, when the results don't show, when you feel like giving up, take a deep breath and remember your purpose. Because that's the fire that never dies. That's the strength that carries you through. That's what turns dreamers into doers and believers into achievers. When motivation fades, your purpose will keep you alive. Keep it close. Keep it clear. Keep it strong. The beginning fire can reignite your discipline. In the beginning, you were unstoppable. You remember that feeling, right? That spark, that hunger, that energy you had when you first started your journey. You couldn't sleep because you were so excited about the vision you saw in your mind. You were ready to do whatever it took. To wake up early, to work late, to sacrifice, to push through pain. Because in that moment, you saw something bigger than where you were. That beginning fire wasn't about the situation you were in. It was about the belief that you could change it. But somewhere along the way, life started getting in the way. You got tired, you got busy, you got comfortable. And that fire that once burned inside of you started to fade. You started going through the motion. You started surviving instead of thriving, But here's the truth. That fire never truly dies. It's still in you. You just have to reignite it. When you started, you didn't have all the answers. You didn't know how everything would work out, but you believed. That belief was your fuel. You didn't care how long it took. You were just focused on the mission. That's the energy that built your foundation. And when discipline starts to feel heavy, when the grind starts to feel like a burden, that's when you need to go back and remember the reason you started in the first place. Go back to the moment you made the decision to change your life. Go back to that version of yourself that said, I'm done with average, I'm done with excuses. I'm ready to make it happen. Because that version of you didn't care about comfort. That version of you didn't need motivation. They had purpose. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about staying connected to the mission even when the excitement fades. The reason people lose discipline isn't because they're weak. It's because they forget what lit them up in the first place. They forget that in the beginning, it wasn't about results. It was about vision. When you first started, you weren't chasing comfort. You were chasing change. You were willing to put in the work because you could see something others could. But as time passed, you started measuring progress by how fast you were moving instead of how far you've come. That's when discipline starts slipping. Not because the dream disappeared, but because the fire did. You've got to understand something. The fire that starts your journey and the discipline that finishes are two sides of the same coin. You can't rely on the fire to stay lit on its own. You have to feed it. You have to protect it. You have to protect it. You have to remind yourself why you started when you feel tired, when you feel lost, when the results don't come as fast as you want. Because that fire, that emotion, that hunger, that deep desire is what builds discipline. You don't wake up disciplined. You build discipline by choosing every single day to act even when you don't feel like it. And the way to do that is to reignite that early hunger. Remember how bad you wanted it when you began? Remember the frustration that made you say, enough is enough? Remember the vision that made you stay up at night dreaming? That's not gone. It's buried under routine, under doubt, under fatigue. You've got to dig it out. You got to remind yourself of the person who started this journey, because that person was fearless. That person didn't care how long it took. That person was willing to fail as many times as it took to succeed. You have to find that version of yourself again. You have to talk to that version. Ask yourself, oh, why did I start? What was I fighting for? Who did I want to become? And when you reconnect with that, you'll find your discipline again. Discipline doesn't come from hype. It comes from commitment. The beginning fire shows you what's possible, but discipline makes it real. When you first start, the fire gives you passion, but it's not sustainable without structure. Discipline is the structure that keeps the fire alive. It's like a campfire. If you don't add wood, it dies. If you don't protect it from the wind, it fades. The same goes for your drive. You got to feed it with reminders of your why. You got to protect it from negativity, doubt, and fear. Because those things are like wind. They blow against your fire until you stop believing you can keep it burning. Sometimes you got to look back, not to dwell, but to remember the strength you had when you started with nothing. That's where your true power lies. You didn't get this far by luck. You got here because you had a reason to fight. You had a vision so powerful that no excuse could stand against it. That version of you is still inside you. You don't need new motivation. You need to reconnect with the old fire. That spark that once said, I can do this, can reignite every ounce of discipline you need to finish what you started. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the strongest leaders, they all had moments where they lost their fire. But the difference between them and everyone else is that they knew how to go back and reignite it. They knew how to remind themselves of that first moment, that first dream, that first pain, that first reason they decided to go all in. They understood that discipline isn't built from comfort. It's built from consistency. Every time they felt like stopping, they remembered where they began. That's what gave them the strength to keep showing up when nobody else did. When you lose your fire, you lose your energy. When you lose your energy, you lose your consistency. And when you lose your consistency, you lose your progress. That's why it's so important to keep that original flame alive. Because your fire doesn't just give you motivation, it gives you identity. It reminds you that you were never meant to settle for average. It reminds you that you were built for more. It reminds you that discipline isn't a burden. It's your weapon. It's your weapon. It's the bridge between your potential and your promise. Think about the time when you first decided to change your life. Nobody had to push you. Nobody had to remind you. You were self-driven, self-motivated, self-focused. You didn't care about what people thought. You were too focused on what you wanted. That's the energy that built your foundation. But over time, the noise of the world, the pain of waiting, and the frustration of slow progress made you forget. That's why you gotta go back. Not to live in the past, but to pull strength from it. Cause the fire that started your journey can still fuel your discipline today. There's a certain kind of magic that comes from remembering the beginning. When you think back to where you started, the struggles, the sacrifices, the late nights, the doubt, you realize how far you've come. You realize how strong you actually are. You realize that if you could start with nothing and get this far, then there's nothing stopping you from going even further. That realization reignites your drive. It reminds you that discipline isn't punishment, it's progress. Every time you stick to the plan, every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're building a future version of yourself that won't break under pressure. And here's the truth. Discipline and fire work together. The fire gives you a reason to start, and discipline keeps you moving when the fire dim. But when you go back to your roots and remember why you started, that fire comes back stronger than before. It becomes a controlled flame, steady, powerful, and unstoppable. You start to operate from commitment instead of emotion. You start to act out of purpose instead of pressure. And once you get to that level, there's nothing anyone can do to stop you. You can always reignite your fire. It's never too late. Maybe you've been inconsistent. Maybe you've been distracted. Maybe you've even thought about quitting. That's okay, you're human. But don't let that be your ending. Go back to day one. Go back to that spark that made you believe in yourself. Reconnect with it. Let it burn through the excuses, through the fear, through the fatigue. Let it remind you who you are and why you started. Because that's where your strength lives. Not in perfection, but in persistence. When you feel lost, when your discipline starts slipping, when your passion fades, go back to the beginning. Go back to the hunger. Go back to the fire that made you believe anything was possible. Because that beginning fire is not gone. It's waiting. It's waiting for you to breathe life back into it. And once you do, your discipline will rise again, stronger and sharper than ever before. You'll move with purpose. You'll act with confidence. You'll grind with faith. Because you'll remember, the fire that started your journey is the same fire that will finish it. When you're in the middle of your journey and everything starts to feel heavier than when you began, that's when you must remind yourself that growth never happens in comfort. The pain, the struggle, the challenges, they're not signs that you're failing. They're signs that you're evolving. Every great story has chapters filled with difficulty. Every champion, every leader, every successful person has walked through seasons where quitting felt easier than continuing. But here's the truth. The very discomfort you're facing right now is shaping you into the version of yourself that's capable of handling what you've been praying for. You can't skip this process. You can't rush through it. The pain you're feeling is the price you paid for strength, for wisdom, for discipline. You can't become who you're meant to be without first enduring the refining fire of struggle. When you started, you were excited. You had a vision, a dream, a purpose burning inside you. But as time passed, that excitement began to fade and reality set in. It's easy to feel motivated at the start, but it's consistency through discomfort that separates the dreamers from the doers. The ones who succeed aren't always the smartest or the strongest. They're the ones who kept pushing when everyone else stopped. Growth is not glamorous. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's doing the hard thing even when no one applauds. That's what molds you into someone unstoppable. Think about a seed buried in the dirt. Before it becomes a tree, it's in total darkness. It pushes through the soil, through resistance, through pressure to reach the light. Without that struggle, it could never grow. You're no different. The dirt that you're under right now, the obstacles, the pain, the uncertainty, they're not meant to bury you. They're meant to grow you. You can't have strength without struggle. You can't build muscle without resistance. You can't develop character without adversity. The moments that feel like they're breaking you are often the very moments that are building you. You have to shift your perspective about pain. Stop running from it. Stop seeing it's something bad. Start viewing it as a sign of progress. Pain means you're stretching beyond what's comfortable. It means you're becoming more than what you were. Every rep in the gym hurts, but that's how the body grows. Every failure in life stings, But that's how the soul grows. The pressure you're under is not meant to crush you. It's meant to create you. You're in training. Every struggle is preparing you for the stage you asked for. Every setback is a setup for strength. You can't handle big victories with small mind endurance. You have to build your capacity through the grind. When life gets hard, most people look for escape. They quit their dreams, walk away from relationships, abandon their goals, all because it's uncomfortable. But those who understand that growth demands discomfort are the ones who stay the course. You've got to become comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to embrace the grind, not avoid it. You got to remind yourself that the pain you feel today will become your power tomorrow. Every drop of sweat, every tear, every moment of doubt is building your foundation. You can't get to greatness without going through the grind. Think about athletes in training. The best don't complain about the pain. They chase it. They understand that every bit of discomfort is a step toward mastery. When you lift heavy, your muscles tear. When you push your body to its limit, it screams. But after the pain comes the strength. After the exhaustion comes growth. Life works the same way. The more you endure, the stronger you become. The moments that make you want to quit are the moments that forge your character. Every test you pass strengthens your spirit, and every hardship you face gives you a new level of resilience. Sometimes it's not even the big obstacles that break you. It's the small, constant challenges, the daily grind, the repetition, the loneliness. That's when most people lose heart. But that's also where real growth happens. The process of becoming your best self isn't loud or glamorous. It's quiet. It's in those unseen moments where you choose discipline over comfort. It's when you keep going even though nobody's clapping. It's when you sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. That's where transformation happens. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. So when the pain hits, when you feel like the world is against you, when your mind starts whispering, just give up. That's your cue to dig deeper. You don't grow by quitting when it's hard. You grow by pushing through when it's hardest. Every time you refuse to quit, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your circumstances. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to endure. You're supposed to trust the process even when it's unclear. Growth takes time. Seeds don't become trees overnight. Dreams don't become reality instantly. But if you keep watering your vision with consistency, faith, and effort, it will grow. There will be moments when you question everything. Moments when your friends don't understand why you keep going. Moments when you feel isolated because your journey is different. That's the price of growth. The path to success is lonely because not everyone can handle the pressure that builds greatness. But here's what you must remember. Pressure creates diamonds. Without pressure, coal stays cold. Without heat, gold stays ore. Without pain, you stay ordinary. So stop running from the very thing that's molding you into something extraordinary. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of quitting lasts forever. One leads to progress. The other leads to regret. And regret is far heavier than failure. Failure teaches, strengthens, and redirects. Regret haunts. So choose your pain wisely. Because either way, there will be pain. But one pain makes you stronger, and the other steals your future. You have to decide which one you're willing to live with. Every struggle you face right now is not random. It's purpose-driven. Life is preparing you for the next level. The reason it feels hard is because you're growing into someone who can handle more, lead more, and inspire more. So don't fight the process. Flow with it. Trust that the struggle you're facing is producing something powerful inside you. You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that every painful moment was worth it because it taught you endurance. It taught you focus. It taught you who you really are. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself that growth doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to. You're stretching into your potential. You're shedding your old self. You're learning discipline, patience, and resilience. Those things don't come easy, but once you built them, no one can take them away. That's why you can't quit in the middle. Because everything you're going through right now, the pain, the frustration, the loneliness, is building you for something greater than you can imagine. So embrace it. Use the pain as fuel. Let the discomfort remind you that you're on the right path. Growth always hurts before it feels good. Keep pushing, keep showing up, and keep believing. Because one day soon, you'll realize that the pain that once made you want to quit was the same pain that made you unstoppable. You can't quit when things get tough because consistency is what builds greatness. Anybody can show up when they feel good, when they're inspired, when the conditions are right. But true champions show up even when everything around them tells them not to. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Success isn't a single moment. It's a series of small, consistent actions repeated over time, especially when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, and when no one believes in you. The greatest victories come from those who stay consistent when motivation disappears. Because motivation fades. It's emotional, it's temporary. But discipline, consistency, and commitment, those are eternal. Every great success story begins with someone who decided they would not stop. It's not that they didn't feel like quitting. They did. They faced days of exhaustion, frustration, doubt, and pain. But they made a decision that no matter what, they would keep showing up. You gotta build that same mindset. You gotta be consistent in the dark before you ever shine in the light. You gotta keep working when there's no audience, no validation, no recognition. That's where real growth happens. That's where legends are made. Think about it. The farmer doesn't see his crops grow overnight. He plants, waters, waits, and keeps showing up, even when the field looks the same. The process is invisible before it becomes visible. The seed doesn't sprout because of one day of effort. It grows because of daily care. Life works the same way. The work you put in today might not pay off tomorrow, but if you stay consistent, it will pay off eventually. The problem is most people quit before they see the harvest. They give up when it gets hard, when the results don't come fast enough. But that's when you have to dig deeper, because the moment you want to quit the most is usually the moment you're closest to your breakthrough. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. You don't have to be perfect every day, but you do have to show up every day. Even if it's small progress, it's still progress. One step at a time, one brick at a time, one rep at a time. That's how greatness is built. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly become successful. You build it through years of small, consistent effort that compound into something extraordinary. Every single day you choose discipline over comfort, you're adding to your legacy. Every time you push yourself when no one's watching, you're proving to yourself that you're serious about your dream. It's easy to stay committed when life is good, when things are flowing. But can you stay committed when it's raining? Can you stay consistent when you're tired, when it's hard, when you failed before? That's where your real strength is tested. You don't develop grit when everything is easy. You build it in the grind, in the moments where quitting feels justified, but you keep going anyway. You have to fall in love with the process, not just the results. Because if you only work hard for the outcome, you'll quit when the outcome takes too long. But if you fall in love with the process, you'll keep going no matter how long it takes. There will be days when you'll question yourself, days when your energy is low, days when your effort feels wasted. But let me tell you this, consistency always pays off. Maybe not immediately, but inevitably. Every drop of effort you put in is building momentum. Every single day you show up, you're stacking wins, even if they're invisible right now. It's like climbing a mountain. You don't see the peak for most of the journey, but every step counts. You don't realize how far you've come until you turn around and see the distance you cover. That's the power of consistency. You have to remind yourself daily why you started. Because when fatigue sets in, when doubt whispers in your ear, your why becomes your fuel. You didn't come this far to only come this far. You've invested too much time, too much effort, too much pain to walk away now. Consistency is your weapon against mediocrity. The world doesn't reward talent alone. It rewards endurance. The one who endures the longest, who keeps grinding when others stop, who keeps believing when others doubt. That's the one who wins. Think about your role models. Every person you look up to, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, they all have one thing in common: consistency. They didn't make excuses. They didn't rely on luck. They relied on discipline. Michael Jordan didn't become the best because of talent alone. He became great because he showed up early, practiced longer, and worked harder than everyone else. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on the first try. He failed over 1,000 times, but he kept going. Every failure taught him something new, and his consistency turned those failures into success. That's what you have to do. Stop expecting instant results. Greatness takes time, patience, and relentless effort. There's a quote that says, each success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. It's true. It's not about doing something huge once. It's about doing the small things consistently. Wake up early. Work on your goals. Improve a little each day. Keep learning. Keep moving forward. It's the repetition that creates mastery. When you stay consistent long enough, you begin to build momentum. And once momentum kicks in, everything changes. The same effort that once felt heavy becomes natural. The same routine that felt hard becomes habit. That's when you start to see results. But you can't build momentum without first enduring the slow seasons. Those are the testing grounds. That's where your patience, focus, and character are built. The beginning is always the hardest because you're building habits, not results. But if you stay consistent, the habits will eventually create the results you've been waiting for. The secret is to keep showing up even when progress feels invisible. Because every small action compounds into something massive over time. You may not notice it daily, but the world will notice it eventually. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. There will be mornings you wake up tired, evenings when you're drained, moments when you feel uninspired. But discipline said, I'll do it anyway. That's the mindset that changes everything. You can't depend on motivation. It's fickle. You have to depend on consistency. That's what builds unshakable confidence, because when you've been consistent, you don't have to hope you'll succeed. You know you will. You built the evidence through your actions. Sometimes the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not about talent or opportunity. It's about consistency. Most people start strong but end weak. They lose focus, but results don't come fast enough. But you can't plant a seed today and expect fruit tomorrow. You have to nurture it, water it, protect it from the storms, and trust that in time it will bear fruit. The process may be slow, but it's never wasted. Every day you stay consistent, you're one step closer to the life you want. Consistency builds credibility. It builds trust with yourself and with others. When you say you're going to do something and actually follow through, you start to believe in your own strength. That belief becomes power. The more consistent you are, the more confidence you build. Because confidence isn't born from success. It's born from discipline. It's born from the repetition of doing hard things over and over until they no longer scare you. So when you feel like quitting, remember this. Success doesn't belong to the most gifted, it belongs to the most consistent. You may not be the fastest, the smartest, or the strongest, but if you keep going, if you stay disciplined, you'll outlast everyone who gave up. Your consistency will outshine their talent. The road to greatness is long, but it's walked one step at a time every single day. And the ones who keep walking, even when it hurts, even when it's dark, even when it feels pointless, those are the ones who make it. Consistency isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you do once. It's about what you do daily. Your dreams are waiting on your consistency. So show up, do the work, keep going. And when you feel like quitting, remind yourself, you've already started this journey. You've already sacrificed too much to turn back now. Stay consistent, stay focused. And in time, you'll look back and realize that every single moment you refused to quit was the moment that built your success. When you feel like quitting, one of the most powerful things you can do is remember that every struggle you faced up until now has prepared you for this moment. You've already been through pain before and you survived it. You've already been through failure, disappointment, heartbreak, and doubt, and you made it through every single one. That means you're stronger than you think. You didn't come this far to let one hard season stop you. Everything you've been through wasn't random, it was training. It was shaping you into the person who could handle this exact moment. The lessons, the scars, the setbacks, they all built something inside you that you can now use to push forward. You've conquered storms before, and this one will not break you. When you face challenges, it's easy to forget how much strength you already possess. You get so caught up in the pain of the present that you lose sight of the power of your past. You forget the nights you cried and still woke up the next day. You forget the failures that taught you how to rise again. You forget that there were moments when you thought you couldn't go on, but somehow you did. That's resilience, that's growth, that's proof that you're capable. You've built endurance through every hardship you've ever faced, and it's that endurance that will carry you through this next chapter. Sometimes we think strength means never breaking, but real strength is breaking and still getting up again. It's having every reason to quit, but finding one reason to keep going. It's choosing faith over fear, purpose over pain, and persistence over perfection. You've already shown that strength countless times. Think about all the obstacles you've overcome to get to where you are today. All the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the battles no one else even knows about. You didn't survive all of that just to stop now. You've already proven to yourself that you can endure. The same strength that got you through your past will carry you through your future. The reason many people quit is not because they're weak, but because they forget how far they've come. They lose perspective. They start focusing on how far they still have to go instead of recognizing the distance they've already covered. You've made progress even if it's not obvious yet. You've grown stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You've overcome situations that once seemed impossible. So when you're tempted to quit, take a moment to remember that version of yourself that refused to give up before. That same fire still burns within you. You just have to ignite it again. Your past is not a chain holding you back. It's a reminder of your power. It's a reminder of your power. Every time life tried to knock you down, you stood up stronger. Every time someone doubted you, you proved them wrong. Every time you failed, you learned, adapted, and improved. That's growth. That's progress. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. You've evolved. And that evolution came through pain, through endurance, through moments where you could have quit but did. The struggle was never meant to stop you. It was meant to strengthen you. Think about this. Diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. Steel is forged in fire, not peace. And you too are being refined by the challenges you face. Every hardship is shaping your character. Every delay is teaching you patience. Every obstacle is building your endurance. The pressure you're under right now is not punishment. It's preparation. Life doesn't test the weak. It tests those who are meant for more. The fact that you're being tested means there's greatness within you that needs to be revealed. When you remember what you've already overcome, quitting no longer feels like an option. You endured too much to turn back now. You've come through battles that others would have given up on. You faced moments that broke others, yet here you are, still standing. You've already defeated pain before, and you can do it again. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is that the ones who make it refuse to forget what they've already survived. They use their past as fuel, as proof that they can overcome anything. You see, every struggle you faced has built a foundation within you. Every moment of pain has contributed to your strength. Every failure has made you wiser. Every tear has watered the soil of your growth. You may not have noticed it then, but everything that hurt you was preparing you for the challenges you're facing now. Life doesn't waste experiences. Everything serves a purpose. Your past is not a burden. It's your blueprint for resilience. There will always be moments when you feel like the weight of life is too heavy, when quitting feels easier than continuing. But those are the moments where you must remind yourself of your journey. Look back at the battles you fought, the ones that seemed impossible. Remember the strength it took to get up each time you fell. You've already proven that you have what it takes. You've already proven that you can fight through pain. So don't let the fear of one more struggle make you forget the warrior you've already become. Your strength didn't appear overnight. It was built in the moments when no one saw you struggle. It was built in the nights you cried yourself to sleep, but still woke up and tried again. It was built in the days when you didn't feel motivated, but stayed disciplined. You've been training for this moment your entire life. Every obstacle was a lesson. Every setback was a setup. Every failure was feedback. Everything that's happened up to this point has been molding you into someone capable of handling even greater challenges. You have to remind yourself that pain is temporary, but strength is permanent. The struggle you're in right now won't last forever, but the person you become because of it will. The pain you're feeling is evidence that you're pushing beyond your limits. It's proof that you're growing. So instead of running from it, embrace it, use it. Let it remind you that you're still in the fight. As long as you're still fighting, you're still winning. You are not defined by what you go through. You're defined by how you rise from it. Every scar you have tells a story of survival. Every wound healed represents a lesson learned. You're not broken. You're battle tested. You're You've been through the fire and came out stronger. You faced storms and still found your way. That's what resilience looks like. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about facing it head on and saying, I will not be defeated. You have to understand that your past struggles were not in vain. They were the foundation for your future success. The pain you felt built patience. The disappointments you endured built perspective. The failures you experienced built fortitude. Nothing was wasted. It all served a purpose. And now when you feel like quitting, you have to reach back into those memories, into that strength, and remind yourself, if I can survive that, I can survive this too. The person you are today is the result of every time you didn't quit. Every challenge you faced added another layer of resilience. Every failure you overcame made you stronger. You've already been through worse and still made it. This moment, this challenge, this pain, it's just another chapter in your story of triumph. And one day you'll look back and realize that this too was necessary for your growth. So when you feel like quitting, don't just think about how far you have to go. Think about how far you've already come. You've already walked through fire. You've already climbed mountains. You've already fought battles that no one even knows about. You didn't come this far to stop now. You're stronger than you feel, braver than you believe, and more capable than you know. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep remembering that your past is proof that you have what it takes to overcome your present. The strength you need is already within you. It's been there all along, forged in the fire of your past, tested by time, and proven through every challenge you've conquered. You've come too far to let doubt win now. So stand tall, breathe deep, and remind yourself you've made it through before, and you'll make it through again. You're built for this. You're ready for this. And no matter how hard it gets, you will not quit because your story isn't finished yet. When you feel like quitting, one of the most important things you must understand is that your breakthrough might be just one step away. The moment when you're tired, frustrated, and ready to walk away is often the very moment that's testing whether you truly deserve what you're chasing. Life has a way of pushing you to the edge before it opens the door. It's almost like life asks you, how bad do you want it? Before it gives it to you. The pain, the struggle, the obstacles, they aren't meant to stop you. They're meant to prove your commitment. The moment you decide to keep going, even when everything in you says stop, is the moment you begin to separate yourself from everyone who gave up too early. You don't know how close you are to success. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. But if you quit today, you'll never know. You see, the journey to greatness isn't designed to be easy. It's designed to test your patience, your endurance, your faith, and your discipline. It's designed to strip away your weaknesses and strengthen your character. Every time you hit a wall, it's not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you're getting closer. But most people never see what's on the other side of that wall because they quit too soon. They give up when it gets hard, not realizing that the next swing of the hammer could have broken through. You can't afford to do that. You've invested too much time, energy, and emotion to stop now. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because you're almost dead. Think about all the people who quit right before their breakthrough. The athlete who stopped training one season before they got noticed. The entrepreneur who gave up right before their business took off. The student who stopped studying right before they passed the exam. The dream didn't fail. They just gave up too early. What separates those who make it from those who don't isn't talent, luck, or resources. It's persistence. It's the decision to take one more step, even when you can't see the finish line. You never know how close you are to your victory. You never know how close you are to that one moment that changes everything. That's why you can't stop now. When you're in the middle of the struggle, your emotions can cloud your vision. You start to believe the lie that yours isn't working, that your sacrifices don't matter, that your dream isn't worth it anymore. But those are temporary emotions. The truth is, the most painful moments often come right before the greatest breakthroughs. That's when most people quit, right when the pressure is at its highest. But the pressure isn't there to break you, it's there to push you into your next level. Diamonds form under pressure, strength builds under tension, and your victory is forged in the moments when you refuse to give up. You have to train your mind to see beyond the pain. You have to learn to endure when it hurts, to keep moving when you're tired, and to believe when everything around you looks impossible. Because success doesn't come to those who start strong. It comes to those who finish strong. The race isn't won by the fastest. It's won by the one who refuses to stop running. It's easy to keep going when things are going your way, but when everything feels like it's falling apart, that's when your true strength is tested. That's when you find out what you're made of. There's a reason why life gets harder before it gets better. The final stretch of any race is always the most exhausting. That's when your legs start burning, your lungs start screaming, and your mind starts whispering, it's okay to quit. But if you push through that pain, if you keep running when everything inside you says stop, that's when you cross the finish line. The pain you feel today is nothing compared to the pride you'll feel tomorrow. One more day of effort, one more ounce of courage, one more step forward. That's what makes the difference between giving up and breaking through. Every successful person you admire has faced this moment, the breaking point. They've all reached a point where quitting seemed easier, but they made a decision to take one more step. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Imagine if he stopped at attempt number 9,999. He wouldn't have known that success was waiting just one try away. The same is true for you. You might be one more try away from your dream. One more day of effort away from the opportunity that changes your life. You'll never know if you quit now. Sometimes the greatest reward comes not from what you achieve, but from who you become along the way. The process of pushing through pain, of staying committed, of refusing to quit, it transforms you. You become stronger, wiser, and more confident. You start to realize that nothing in life is impossible when you refuse to stop trying. That mindset becomes your greatest weapon. Because once you understand that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever, you'll stop letting your emotions control your decision. You'll start choosing purpose over pain, progress over perfection, and perseverance over quitting. When things get hard, you have to remind yourself why you started. You didn't begin this journey for comfort. You began it because you believed in something greater. You had a vision for your life, a dream that was worth fighting for. That dream didn't disappear just because things got tough. It's still there, waiting for you to reach it. But it's not going to come easy. You have to fight for it. You have to be willing to go through the pain to earn the reward. Every tear, every failure, every sleepless night is all part of the process. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Imagine how powerful it will feel to look back one day and realize that you made it through the moments that tried to break you, that you didn't give up when it was hard, that you kept going when everyone else stopped. That feeling, that sense of pride, accomplishment, and peace will be worth every second of pain you endured. But you only get to feel that if you keep moving forward. You can't experience the victory if you stop in the middle of a fight. You owe it to yourself to see what happens if you don't quit. You owe it to the person you used to be, the one who dreamed big, who believed in the vision, who started his journey with passion and purpose. You can't let that version of yourself down. You owe it to the people who believe in you, to the ones who are watching you, to the ones who are inspired by your story. But most importantly, you owe it to your future self, the one who's waiting on the other side of this pain, the one who will thank you for not giving up. When you quit, you don't just lose the goal, you lose the growth. You lose the lessons, you lose the strength that comes from persevering. But when you keep going, even when it's hard, you win something greater than success. You win resilience. Yeah, prove to yourself that nothing can break you. You built a calm mindset that can overcome anything. And once you built that, no failure can destroy you because you know how to rise again. So when you're at your lowest, when the pain feels unbearable, when you can't see the finish line, remind yourself, this is the test before the triumph. This is the darkness before the dawn. The struggle you're facing isn't there to stop you. It's there to prepare you for the blessing ahead. Keep moving, keep believing, keep fighting. Because the moment you refuse to quit is the moment life starts bending in your favor. You are closer than you think. You've already come too far to turn back now. Every second of pain, every obstacle, every doubt, is all leading you somewhere. You just have to take one more step, and then another, and then another. Because one day soon, you'll look back and realize that the moment you wanted to quit was the exact moment your life was about to change. So keep going, you're almost there. The finish line is waiting, and it belongs to you. Pain is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. Every person who has ever achieved something great has had to go through seasons of pain. Pain is part of the process. It's the price you pay for greatness, for growth, for transformation. You see, pain is not there to stop you. It's there to strengthen you. It's a test to see if you're truly committed to the dream you say you wanted. Everyone says they want success, they want to win, they want to rise. But when pain knocks on the door, most people run the other way. The truth is, pain is the gatekeeper of your destiny. You can't skip it, you can't avoid it, you can't buy your way around it. You have to walk through it. But here's the beauty. Pain doesn't last forever. It's temporary. It fades. But when you quit, that decision lasts forever. The regret, the guilt, the what ifs, those things stick to you like a shadow. That's why you can't give in to pain. You have to outlast it. When you're in pain, it's hard to see the purpose. You start to question everything. And why me? Why now? Why does it hurt this much? But that's when you need to remind yourself that pain has a purpose. It's not random. It's refining you, shaping you, and preparing you for the level you said you wanted. You can't ask for strength and expect comfort. You can't ask for growth and expect ease. The weight of the struggle is building the muscle of your character. The fire you feel burning is the same fire that's forging your greatness. Every scar you get along the way is proof that you didn't give up when life hit you hard. Those scars are your medals, your evidence of endurance, your evidence of endurance. The truth is, everyone feels pain. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful isn't that one group feels less of it. It's that one group understands its purpose. They embrace the process, knowing every tear, every sleepless night, every setback is just temporary. They've learned to keep moving through the storm because they know that sunshine always follows. Pain doesn't last forever, but quitting is like setting your dream on fire with your own hands. It's deciding that the temporary discomfort of the moment is worth throwing away everything you've been working toward. It's giving permanent power to a temporary problem. And that's not how champions think. When you feel that pain, when your body aches, your heart hurts, and your mind is screaming for relief, that's the moment when you have to dig deep and remind yourself, this is temporary. The soreness will fade, the tears will dry, the doubt will pass. But if you quit, that feeling of what could have been will never leave you. You'll see opportunities go by and think, if only I had held on a little longer. And that's a pain you can't recover from. The pain of regret. Regret is heavier than failure because failure teaches you, but regret haunts you. So you got to make up your mind right now that no matter how painful the process gets, you will not quit. You will not surrender to the temporary. Look at any great person, athletes, leaders, dreamers, warriors. They've all faced moments where the pain was unbearable. But what separated them from the rest wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it was their ability to endure. They knew that pain was just a sign that they were growing, that something was shifting inside them. They didn't pray for an easier road. They prayed for stronger legs. They didn't ask for lighter burden. They asked for stronger backs. And when the pain came, they leaned into it because they understood that on the other side of pain is power. On the other side of pain is the version of you you've been trying to become. And you can't reach that version if you keep quitting every time it gets hard. Sometimes pain comes not because you're failing, but because you're evolving. You're outgrowing old habits, old limits, old mindsets, and that process hurts. It's uncomfortable. It feels like you're being stretched beyond your limits. But that's how transformation works. A seed has to break before it grows. A diamond has to endure pressure before it shines. You are no different. The process that's breaking you is the same process that's building you. Don't let pain trick you into thinking it's the end. It's not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. But if you quit, you'll never know what was waiting for you on the other side. You have to start seeing pain differently. Stop running from it. Stop fearing it. Start using it. Every time it hurts, that's a signal that you're doing something right, that you're stretching, that you're in motion. People who avoid pain avoid growth. People who embrace it evolve. That's the difference. The person who quits never gets to see the result of their effort. They stop just before the breakthrough, just before the reward, just before the victory. You might be one more rep away, one more call away, one more attempt away, but you'll never know if you quit now. Pain is your teacher. Quitting is your thief. Don't let the thief win. When you look back one day, you'll realize that the moments that hurt the most were the ones that shaped you the most. They taught you endurance, discipline, and resilience. They made you humble enough to learn and strong enough to stand tall. You'll thank the pain because it made you appreciate the victory. But if you quit, you'll never have that story to tell. You'll never be able to say, I made it. You'll only be left wondering what could have been. So when the pain feels unbearable, remember, it's not forever, it's a season. Seasons change, but the lessons you gain from pushing through, those stay forever. There's something beautiful about a person who refuses to quit. They face the same pain, the same doubts, the same fears as everyone else, but they made a choice. They decided that the temporary discomfort wasn't enough to destroy their destiny. They decided that their dream was worth every ounce of pain it took to reach it. And that's what you gotta do. Decide right now that no matter how bad it gets, no matter how dark it feels, you will not stop. You'll cry, you'll stumble, you'll crawl if you have to, but you'll keep moving. Because pain is temporary, and you're stronger then. So when you wake up tomorrow and everything in you says, I can't do this anymore, you answer back, yes, I can. This pain is not forever. Every step you take through pain is a step closer to power. Every minute you endure is a minute closer to breakthrough. The pain you feel now is the strength you'll feel later. So don't give up. Let the pain push you, not stop you. Because one day you'll look back at this season of your life and realize it was never about the pain, it was about the person it made you become. Pain is temporary, but quitting makes that pain permanent. And you weren't created to live in regret. You were created to rise above it. So hold on, push through and finish what you started. When it's all said and done, when the lights go out and the noise fades away, what will matter most is not how easy the road was, but how committed you stayed when it got hard. That's the truth most people don't want to face. Success isn't about talent. It's not about resource. And it's not even about opportunity. It's about endurance. It's about who can take the hits and still keep moving. It's about who can fall down 10 times and still get up for the 11th. You see, every time you kept going, it would have been easier to quit. You built something inside yourself that no one can ever take away. Strength, character, and unshakable belief. That's what defines you, not the times you won, but the times you refused to give in when life tried to break you. There's a moment in every person's journey where quitting looks like the best option. It whispers promises of comfort, rest, relief. It tells you, you've done enough. You've given your best, just stop. But that's a lie. Because the moment you quit, all that effort, all those sleepless nights, all those sacrifices, they mean nothing. Quitting robs you of the reward that was waiting just beyond the pain. That's why you can't give up now. You've already endured too much to throw it all away. The storm you're in is temporary. The pain you feel is temporary, but the pride of finishing, of enduring, of seeing it through, that lasts forever. The truth is, pain changes you. It strips away your comfort, your ego, your excuses, until all that's left is the real you. The fighter, the dreamer, the believer. Pain doesn't just test your strength. It reveals it. You never really know how strong you are until you've been pushed beyond your limits. And that's why you can't quit. Because every time you survive pain, you evolve. Every time you push through, you become more of who you were meant to be. The version of you that started this journey is not the same person standing here now. You've grown, you've learned, you've survived. So why stop before you see what all that struggle was meant to create? Sometimes you won't see progress. You'll feel stuck. You'll feel drained. And you'll wonder if it's even worth it. But that's exactly when you have to keep pushing. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's happening deep within you, unseen and unnoticed. And then one day it shows up in your confidence, in your strength, in your victories. That's how life works. The struggle always comes before the success. The pain always comes before the power. The night always comes before the sunrise. So when it's dark and you can't see your way forward, keep walking. Because giving up doesn't end the darkness. It just ensures you never see the light. There will come a day when you'll look back at this chapter of your life and realize it was necessary. The pain that you thought would destroy you was actually building you. The moments that made you cry were teaching you. The failures that embarrassed you were shaping you. Every setback was a setup for a comeback. But you'll only realize that if you refuse to quit. The person who quits never sees the purpose. They stop before they understand the lesson. They give up before the blessing arrives. Don't be that person. Be the one who stays in the fight long enough to see why it was worth it. The world doesn't remember the ones who quit. It remembers the ones who refuse to. Every legacy ever built, every name that echoes through history belongs to someone who kept going when everything in them says stop. You might not be able to control the pain, but you can control the decision to keep showing up. You might not be able to control the timing, but you can control the consistency. That's what winners do. They show up no matter how they feel. They trust the process, even when the process hurts. And that's what you gotta do. Keep showing up. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Because your time is coming. There's power in endurance. There's beauty in persistence. The world may doubt you, people may walk away, and circumstances may turn against you. But if you refuse to quit, nothing can stop you. Every obstacle eventually gets tired of standing in front of a person who refuses to give up. Every challenge eventually gives way to the one who endures. That's the secret. Not perfection, not luck, but relentless consistency. You just keep going until there's nothing left to resist you. So don't let pain fool you into thinking you're weak. Don't let struggle convince you you're not. You are enough. You're built for this. You've come through too much to break now. You've been tested, refined, stretched, and you're still standing. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's proof of who you are. And if you could survive everything that's tried to take you down before, you can survive this too. There's a saying, if you're going through hell, keep going. Because if you stop, you stay in it. But if you keep moving, eventually you come out on the other side. Stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. That's exactly what your pain is doing for you. It's not there to end you. It's there to elevate you. You just have to keep walking. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Every time you choose not to quit, you're winning. One day, you'll look back and smile. You'll realize that the nights you cried, the days you struggled, the times you wanted to give up, they were all preparing you for this moment. You'll realize that quitting would have been the biggest mistake of your life because everything you ever wanted was waiting just beyond your breaking point. You'll be grateful you held on. You'll be proud that you didn't let temporary pain create a permanent wound. So this is it. This is your reminder. Pain is temporary. It doesn't define you. It doesn't last forever. But quitting follows you. Quitting whispers in your ear years later, reminding you of what could have been. Don't live that life. Don't let regret become your story. Write a story of resilience, of courage, of victory. Write a story that says, I felt the pain, I faced the fear, but I finished what I started. You've got one life. Don't waste it running from discomfort. Don't waste it choosing easy over meaningful. The world doesn't reward those who quit when it hurts. It rewards those who keep going no matter how much it hurts. So take a deep breath, square your shoulders, and remind yourself who you are. You're not a quitter. You're a finisher. You're a fighter. You're a survivor. And no matter what you face, no matter how hard it gets, you'll endure because pain is temporary, but your purpose is forever. Keep moving. Keep believing. Keep becoming. One day the pain will fade. The reward will come and you'll realize it was all worth it because the moment you refuse to quit, you already won.